Welcome everyone to the Island Life podcast, where we journey onto the island of discovery to relive some of the best and worst moments of Survivor. My name is Will, an experienced Survivor fan, 48 seasons deep, and I will be your guide. And today we sit down for another Fireside Chat, where we'll embark on a very special kind of adventure, creating the ideal Survivor season. Joining me is a returning guest, our resident Survivor expert. Welcome back to the show, Rachel.
Hello, William.
Yes, hello, how you doing?
Good to be back.
Yes, are you excited to break this down? Because we off the pod we had like brainstormed a couple things, but we haven't like fully 100% unloaded our thoughts. So I'm very curious where we're gonna land on this.
Well, first off, I think for any ideal season, it really comes down to the cast and how likable they are and how much the audience can relate to them. So, if you think about it, right, that's the most important thing. You could have a bit back to basic season with a great cast, and it could do much better than a very well structured season with a poor cast.
Oh yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Before I let you go further, let me just preface with saying this is going to be a spoiler light uh conversation. So while we're not gonna say just like when this happened on this show where so and so won the game. Like we're not gonna say that, but we probably are gonna say, hey, there was a season with this twist. We should probably use that twist. So if you consider knowing that a type of twist happened in a previous season a spoiler, then this will not be the episode for you. But if you're okay with that, you should be fine. And also, the way we're going to break this down is we're not going to unpack an entire season at once. That's a big effort. This is going to be a part one of a series. And as Rachel's alluded to, the part one is going to be tribe structure. What like all the things having to do with building tribes and what happens to tribes during the season. So that's kind of our theme. With that said, cast, go ahead.
Actually, skipping that and going straight to what I think, because I think you could really take any newbies with this type of group, and I'm thinking 6 tribes of 3. 18 players,
Six
6 tribes
six
of
times
3.
3. 6 tribes. Wow.
Hear me out, right? So you take 6 tribes of 3 and you kick them off with a challenge that is very unusual for survivors, something that really tests a different skill set than many other challenges. So no balancing, no puzzles, no obstacle courses. Get one of those really old school, ridiculous challenges like gross food eating, something like that, that just has a very
You're
different
gonna
skill.
guess like survivor skills trivia. Is that what you want?
I tend to
Like
be,
from the field book.
I mean, I personally tend to never be a huge fan of any survivor trivia challenges. So putting the logos in order to me, that's kind of a wash simply because you don't want to reward somebody just for being a super fan. Super fans already come in with enough of an advantage. And I think most people like to see people who aren't super fans who are refreshing and add something new to the game. Because those people who aren't super fans, aren't super knowledgeable about the show, those are people who, even in their own right, force the fans to play very differently and to play with very different strategies in mind.
Oh
So,
yeah. Well, it's even cool to see like you're not a super fan, but you're just innate ability to react to change and come up with ideas on the fly. Like you're able to act like a super fan without being a super fan. That's probably like the most impressive. So I totally agree. I was just pointing out you want a unique challenge. I was trying to think of all the old seasons that came up a couple times, was where Jeff's like as you know in your Survivor Field book, which we would have never seen the whole season or the whole show, but apparently it was there.
ah,
Uh,
like actual survivor trivia.
Yes, that's true. That's what yeah, not Survivor trademark, but Survivor skills, like
Surviving
survival
trivia.
skills.
Yes.
Yes.
That would be a good one. So, here's what you do. So, you start off, you have your first tribe, and you send them off in the little boats of 3. For your 6 tribes of 3, they go off in their little boats, and they have time to get to know each other. This part is really important. You want them to have that day to get to know each other. Then, you let them do their challenge, right? And this challenge is gonna be your surviving trivia. I like that one a lot, actually. Let's go with that one,
Okay.
right? Then what you do, you combine. So you can either do 1st and 2nd place, or 3rd and 4th place, or 1st and 4th, and then 2nd and 3rd, depending on if you want to reward tribes for doing even better, or if you want to even out the tribes a bit more. But the important thing is that 5th and 6th place, they become together. So you essentially are combining tribes. So say, for example, you combine the 1st and 2nd place tribe, you combine them. 3rd and 4th place tribe, you combine them. 5 and 6th place tribe, you now combine them, and now they go to tribal.
Gotcha. So that's do we still call that a tribe swap? Is there a word? Is it just a merge? I don't know if there's actually a term for like when 3
So
tribes become 2 tribes, what is that called?
so you might be thinking, so there's a whole phraseology on swap versus switch. It's probably not worth getting into, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
because
funny enough, I
it's
saw that today. I was on the wiki and it's like tribe switches. Like, what? I've never called it a tribe switch.
yes. So it has, I don't remember which is which, but it has to do with whether or not, I think it has to do with the different sizes of tribes. Like, you're talking about a Marquesas style swap versus the kind of swap we would see today is kind of your swap versus switch. I think I think the swap is the basically what they think of as the Marquesas style swap, where essentially you might end up with an uneven set of tribes, whereas your switch as much is could be if you have a situation where it's more where it ends up becoming more even. But again, we'll have to check that afterward because I might be mixing up my terminology there.
Okay, but ultimately, like in my head, I would have called it like a mini merge. Like you didn't merge into one tribe, but you did merge, and you went from 6 tribes to 3 tribes. That's the main thing here.
You can call it a merge swap. You can call it a combo swap, whatever terminology you want to call it.
Yeah, and clearly you wanna do well because you don't wanna go to tribal. So clearly you're like, there's no you're not throwing this because you don't wanna be on the tribe that goes to tribal.
Hmm.
Um, I'm interested in the 1st through 4th place, but put a pin in that for a second. So 5th, the worst performing tribes in whatever challenge, will they, go together to a beach right after, do you think? Or
Yes.
do they go yes? Okay.
Yes. So basically, those tribes they go together in the beach, and from that point, for another few episodes, those are your tribes. Those combinations are your tribes. And what this does is
Interesting.
this sets
Okay.
up an interest. What this sets up a very odd dilemma, right? Because what are tribal lines really, if you think about it? Because at this point, all you've done with these people is participate in a challenge and spend a little more time together. You haven't even gone to a tribal with just this group. So, does that make you more willing to flip? Say you do flip, does that mean your old tribe just gets taken out one by one? Because you're then stuck with this majority of 3 on the other side if you do that. So, who's going to be the first to flip? How do you kind of work that out? Because you have these even numbers. And you have these essentially meaningless tribal lines that you kind of have to navigate around.
Yeah, and these are when you say tribal lines, you're talking about your tribe of 3 you started with.
Yes.
and maybe spend 1 day and 1 night or 2 days and 1 night. I guess you could play around with exactly how long it's been,
Yes.
but but however long it's been, it'll be more than the other 3 people who you have maybe one evening with
Mhm.
before tribal.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So the default is 3 versus 3, usually. Like, before anyone thinks about flipping, you've got 3 people who might. So, I kinda would you be what do you think of letting them go to sleep? Figure out, like, give them a chance. I hated my other 2 people, like, I'm gonna try to talk to the other 3.
That's fine. I think what I like about this is when they basically, maybe even if you have them, participate in a challenge for a machete and supplies or something like that, or flint and supplies, however they do it now, with your original group of 3. And then, yeah, you can spend a night. I think what's important, though, is you essentially have this tribe designation, right? This is your tribe, right? Those are your tribal lines. And you can sleep, but you still kind of have that designation between the 2 groups. Even though if you think about it, it's really a bit of a fake designation.
Yeah, that's curious because we maintain, it's because really, like, in terms of a TV show, like, production, you're getting almost everything you like about there being 3 tribes. The only difference is uh, we had this extra part in episode 1, but for all your next, like, 4 episodes, you get, because I assume they like, we've been doing it, like, 8 seasons now, so they seem to like this 3 tribe stuff, so they get that for most of the episodes of the pre-merge.
Mhm.
They're just it's just different in this first episode. Um, is there are you willing to allow these tribes to be unbalanced during the pre-merge?
You you for
Because hype, and not necessarily by tribe strength, because I think you account for that by making it like a odd challenge. But today, I mean, most of the seasons, production has tried to match the like strength and weaknesses and demographics, especially across the tribes. So like 3 women and 3 guys on each tribe of 3 is probably how they design it now. But if you do that, you could easily end up with, like, I wonder if there's a way to math it out so that the tribes will still have that balance, or you're gonna have, like, a tribe of 6 guys all going to tribal council. And do we care about that?
I was thinking quite a bit about this. I think you would have to take other measures to try to make the tribes balanced in some way. Um, so maybe it's just general strength. That would be, I think, better answered by uh somebody with maybe Ange. And maybe Ange could answer that. Um, but maybe for example, have a stronger woman with weaker guys, you know, maybe work something of that nature out. Um, but you ideally want them to be relatively similar. It would just kind of be a lot of maneuvering by both casting and whoever is doing these tribe divisions for the start of the game.
Yeah, I wonder if, because every now and then we get these seasons where it's like, was it 44, 43, whatever Jonathan, like, big giant guy Jonathan who saves people from drowning. Like, in that season, it seemed like it was a bunch of weaklings and Jonathan. So, like, maybe then you're not worried about it because, like, I mean, yeah, somebody gets Jonathan, but otherwise, like, all the groups of 3, nobody stands out in strength, at least
Hmm.
physical strength. So maybe, and if they're all super fans, then maybe they're all equal in strategy as well. Um, I I think you would just, in this scenario, you just have to accept your men and women are not gonna be balanced because you're like, there's a chance it's not gonna happen. Because in a group of 3, like, that's unbalanced. So if you have man, woman. Let's say you do two of two men and women, and then two women of men. You split that up in your 6 tribes. Then after the immunity challenge, you might pair up where it all balances out perfectly, or you're gonna get 4 of one gender and 2 of the other gender.
I think your
Um,
yeah, I
but
think
you
your
just
only other alternative that I can think of at least top of mind is doing this at, say, 16 with 4 tribes of 4, but I feel like that's you could do that, but that you'd have to settle for a smaller cast than we've had in quite a minute.
yeah. Well, yeah. You wouldn't because the whole point is that the it's your original tribe is the really small group, so you wouldn't have, like, 2 tribes of 9 and then in episode 3 at 16, then, like, split them up into 4 and then do like, that wouldn't be the
Yeah,
same. Um, okay. I think there's a world where we just accept the imbalance and see what happens.
very well.
I mean, it's been balanced for quite a long time. Maybe there's some good things about imbalance. I mean, for a lot of seasons, there were very bad things about being imbalanced, but maybe in 2025, we can deal with this better.
Maybe, maybe. The only other option I could think you could also go the other way and do 24, but again, which they're doing for season 50, but
I mean, there are doing for season
that's a lot
50.
of people.
To be fair, um,
That's a lot of people.
yeah. Well, that's a big idea. So this is uh the smallest tribes ever, smallest starting tribes ever,
Yeah,
with a little technicality because really it's you're really it's 3 tribes of 6, but you're doing this cool thing at the beginning. I like the drama. It makes every season's episode 1. Is it gonna be a rock draw or will someone flip? And is it always a bad idea to flip? I do kinda like I wonder if we'll see people do the same thing every time or if we'll get because the hope is that it plays out differently every time,
I
and
I
that would be great.
and I think it will because I think it really comes down to how the people who are actually on these tribes interact with each other, right? So if you kind of think about trust and how it's built, right? And I think a good example of it would be Kyle and Camilla. I think they're even if they ended up if they were on opposite sides of the 6-person tribe, could they build trust enough to basically say, okay, this time we're going to boot somebody from your side. Next time we will, in fact, boot somebody from my side. Or maybe that trust is fake. Or maybe it's like, what do you, that's part of the big question is are you able to build trust in it that quickly with the other people or not? And
Yeah,
those all
and
have different
it's almost
implications.
like it's almost too like who's gonna make the first move, and it's like, oh, this person talked to them, throw them out, and then it backfires. Or you never talk to anybody else, and now like because of that, you're the outsider. So it is drama without any idols or advantages, which is interesting.
I think you could even see a 3-2-1.
Well, yeah, so that would be would that just be like mistake like one side
One side
makes a mistake
convinces
or
yeah, one side would basically either convince somebody to flip, but not really, but that, like, they wouldn't actually be flipping. Essentially, it would mean one side staying perfectly united and manipulating the other side.
uh let's be brief about this. This isn't the idols and advantages episode, but does this imply the beware advantages are not in play? Or are we gonna throw that in here too?
I think I mean,
On
you
the group
could.
of 6, on the like after the actually logistics, that means I need 6 speeches. That's kind of interesting. But
Yeah, that's
anyway,
I mean, look, didn't they at the beginning of the Blood versus Water, didn't they have all the pairs just kinda hanging out in their own little section of beach?
I mean, yeah, I guess. Or you could have you given any thought to the flip side? The total opposite, just one world this. All of them are together.
Absolutely
And
not,
then
we can't have that.
no tribes. Is a merge of 18 from the beginning, which is not even
I
what one world did. That's like the other extreme.
I think that would end poor be lead to a boring season, and the reason I say that, right? Think about how often the merge votes are unanimous because you have
Yep.
this sense of when you have to herd a very large group of people, it's very hard to have, like, a close vote because you have to herd so many people into a vote. It's not as dynamic, you can't move votes around as quickly, which is what you do have on smaller tribes because once you have less people involved, you can very quickly turn things around. So I
Yeah.
think if you did
Yeah.
that, it would lead to kind of a slog of a season.
What a crazy. It was so confusing to watch if it was one tribe of 18 too. I would need visuals on the screen to tell me like, "Oh, this person's taking a vote for that person," and everything.
Yes.
Um, Real quick, I think I want I'm not sure the logistics work. I would not want there to exist an idol for this first vote because like, it's already like, I'm already intrigued by the potential rock draw and then and what's happening. So I don't know that I want like, I don't know, maybe they go like, after tribal, they go to their permanent beach, and now there's an idol in play at that point.
Perhaps, or maybe it's just hidden while they're in travel.
Yeah, and then I have to decide, do you tell them or not, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
but yeah, okay, I'm intrigued. It's a crazy thing, and we have to decide like, you have to think about, can it be explained to the viewer? You know, because this probably requires Jeff explaining to the cast, but the purpose of him doing that is really to teach us how this is gonna work.
Mm.
But but if but like, but I'm kinda digging it. Now now after all that, we now have our 3 tribes. Do do we like a tribe swap before, I guess, a second tribe swap technically, like, before the true merge? Or do we kinda
Yes.
let them write it out?
Yes. So I was considering either at 16 or 15, um, doing another swap. And I think there are a lot of things you can do with swaps. One I was thinking of, I think the ones that are most interesting to me are the ideas that involve what is your how can you how can you think about a swap strategically? Because so often, right, what ends up happening with swaps is, oh, you drew a buff, yip dee dee, and that pretty much decides whether or not you're on a tribe that's good for you, bad for you, are you in the minority, the majority, and a lot of times you don't do anything that impacts that. So my suggestion would be I think we need more swaps that the players essentially decide themselves. The swab should be part of the game.
That's that's interesting. I'm trying to picture what that looks like. The simplest version of that is 2 people, let's say you were swapping from 3 to 2, like, 2 people win a challenge, and those 2 people are picking tribes, basically. Like, that's a easy to understand. I don't know if that gives you what you want necessarily.
So, kind of, I'm going to start by kind of walking through a couple different options before getting to the final concept. All right, you
Okay.
ready for this, Will?
Alright, give it to me.
All right, so like you just mentioned, we have the schoolyard pick. That's where you got one person picking. Another option you could say, oh, well, let's just have the tribes divide themselves into like two or three groups. Another
Is that, like,
option,
just is that just, like, agreeing, like,
Yeah.
I'll take the green rock versus
Yeah.
the other. I'll take the purple rock.
So that's an option. Another
Okay.
option, right, is you can find ways that it can essentially be part of the game. So maybe you have everybody gets, let's say, tokens. And so what you do is you say, okay, the people with the most tokens are going to go on to this tribe, and the people with the least tokens are going to go on to that tribe. And that's stuff you can do as well, right? You could say, okay, we're going to have the most people with the most tokens and the people from one tribe and the people with the least tokens from the other tribe and have them swap.
S-
Another
Uh, so hang on. So tokens makes people think of fire tokens. So, but you're just there's some kind of
rocks. Let's
currency in
go
the
with
game.
rocks. Let's go with
Like you
rocks
gave.
then.
Okay, so is this something that they had all along, or like they're presented with like a logic puzzle, basically, like a strategic, not a puzzle, but like they hand that you get handed rocks right then and there, and you pick an amount, and it's revealed how many you picked afterwards.
So I think there are ways it could be tied in with an overall advantage system. For right now though, let's go focus purely on the mechanics of this swap.
All right.
So, say you have these rocks, tokens, whatever you want to call it, and you say, okay, we're gonna give them to these people, and we as a tribe, I'm gonna give my tokens to these people or rocks. I'm gonna give that whatever you want to call it. What's easier, Will?
Well, just answer me this: is this an advantage they've had all along? Like fire tokens was currency you could earn throughout the game and eventually use versus this is a game mechanic presented right now and they've never seen these rocks and they have them now. Which one of those two is this?
I think they could be tied in with other game mechanics for like as part of an advantage mechanic. I think for right now, for simplicity, I think we should let's just go with purely for this game mechanic.
Okay. Rocks it is then.
Okay, rocks. So you say, okay, give out your rocks among your tribe mates. People with the most rocks from one tribe, maybe they'll have the majority automatically, or and the least tribe, something like that, right? You could do something like that, or what you could do is you could go, okay, we're gonna take the people with the most rocks on this tribe and the most rocks on the other tribe, stick them together. We're gonna take the people with the least rocks on one tribe, least rocks with the other tribe, and put them together and send them to tribal.
Okay. So this is as a tribe, you're just in theory deciding who to protect and who not to protect. Like there
Correct.
are other strategies, but like the big exclamation point, like pay attention, is we don't want this person going to tribal, so let's give them a bunch of rocks.
Correct. And they'd essentially be swapped. The people with with the large amount of rocks would be going to tribal together.
Interesting. It's like a much more brutal version. You know, in the early seasons, especially, there was a bunch of coconut
Sorry, they'd be
challenges.
joining a tribe together.
Right, right. But you remember it would be like you have to. It's like you need to cut the ropes of other people in the challenge. So it's very public, where like three strikes and this person's eliminated from the challenge, and it reveals like a pecking order because it's like, oh, you're not part of my group, so I'm gonna eliminate you. So it's like a very public thing. I feel like this is similar, but this is in your own tribe because it's supposed to be a group. Right now, we're talking about a group decision version of
Yeah.
this. Uh, yeah,
And
this would be crazy.
that's another lever you can play with. Like you can say, "Oh, this is all going to be private." Right? All of it is going to be private. You could say all of it's going to be public. You could even mix and match and say, "Oh, you got to give half your rocks publicly and the other half privately." You can do a lot of different things based on what strategic levers you want to be involved. Because every little aspect of that, right? There's another strategy to think about. There's another layer to it.
Okay, before I react, what's your final version that you like the most of this?
Let me get there. Let me get there.
Okay, good.
So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna so pretty straightforward, right? You give rocks to people you want to protect. You don't give rocks to people you are happy to send to, let's call it the tribal tribe, right? We good with that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. Understood.
Now we're gonna reverse it. You're going instead of giving rocks, you're gonna be taking rocks away from people.
Okay, so that implies everyone started out with some amount of rocks.
Right. So, say for example, start out with 50 rocks and you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna take this amount. And you're say, okay, they tell you, okay, you are take away 10 rocks from any combination of people here. They can even say like you have to split it between two people, maybe some that you take publicly, some that you take privately, whatever strategic levers you want to pull in this situation. So basically, all we're doing with the same concept is we're essentially adding a negative twist to it. So we're basically just amping up the drama a little bit.
Oh, yeah. No, now it's very much like that coconut challenge I'm talking about, where you
Yes.
are eliminating people in front of their face, basically, which eventually people figured it out and they just did it kind of randomly instead of targeting the people on the outs. But, um, but okay, so you walk up and you grab people's rocks on your own tribe,
Yes.
and when everyone has done that, now the I guess maybe it's I don't know if it's like, are you saying are so we had 3 tribes, so are we just saying out of every one of those 3 tribes, the 8 fewest took, rocks are on a tribe now?
In this situation. But I kind of want to take it. I got one more step for you, Will.
Alright, hit me.
All right. This is going to add another layer to all this. So you're saying, okay, if you have the least amount of rocks, right? If all of your rocks are stolen, right? We're going to say take um, a certain amount of people from tribe A, a certain amount of people from tribe B, a certain amount of people from tribe C, all of whom have the least rocks. We're going to take those people and put them on, say, the red tribe. And that tribe will be going to tribal council. But everybody else will be randomly divided into two tribes. So it's a 3 to 3 tribe switch.
Oh, okay, so okay.
But essentially,
This
it means you have to make the additional decision. I'd be going to tribal council now, but I also have a sense of what the tribe divide numbers will be like. Whereas if I campaign hard to get the most rocks, then I'm in a situation where I have no idea what the makeup of the tribe I'll be in is. I might be the only one from my starting tribe.
now remember, in your scenario, I until, like, maybe we're, like, halfway through this kind of challenge, like, I don't know what the other tribes are doing, though. Like, that may be difficult to like, if I had stuff taken from me first, by the time I see what the minority tribe is gonna be like, I'm already stuck on it anyway.
It's so
Uh
say for example this happens say at let's go with 16, right? So
Mhm.
I know the two people from the least rocks on tribe A, the two people with the least rocks on tribe B, and the two people with the least rocks on tribe C are all going to be on the red tribe, which will be going to tribal.
Yep.
There are 10 players left. Those 10 players will be randomly swapped between two other tribes.
Yeah, I'm totally I'm tracking on the numbers. We got it's 655, but the 6 is going to tribal council, so they
Yes.
will be 5. But in the midst of, uh, like, if I put myself in their shoes, I can't really speculate who the 4 other people are gonna be on the tribe of 6 until, like, the thing is that the picks are happening. I think in practice, you just roll it. You pick the random tribes of 5 because I have no idea. The only thing I'll know for sure is that one person from my tribe will be with me, but I also know it's gonna be exactly one person, right? Because you said the 2 fewest of each of the 3 tribes.
Yes.
So I
T
know that I'm gonna have exactly 1, which is better
Mhm.
than 0, is but I'm gonna be against it's gonna be a bloodbath between 2 pairs of 2 that may or may not be allies. Like, what if I'm with, like, my person I hate, and then that's tough. Like, at least don't go to tribal and then take my chances. The chance being, will I be outnumbered 3-2 or 4-1 versus being in a war of 2 versus 2 versus 2.
it's all kind of part of, like, and that's what I think makes a good swap and why I think we need to really Jeff comes up with all these twists, but what he really needs to look at is how he swaps tribes. Because you could really take any of the different methods that I mentioned on my way to get to this relatively complicated swap. You could take any of them, and I think you would end up with something more interesting and more strategic and better gameplay than what we have now. Why are
Oh,
we
yeah,
not
right.
gaming the swap?
Yeah, right now, usually it's random, which means the only gameplay that involves is it's better to be winning because then there's more people in your tribe, and then the odds are just a tiny bit more in your favor. You'll end up with people. And even that is like a small change in odds, but it's better than nothing. Uh, so you're right. Frankly, uh, I'm tracking the math with your final idea. I can't picture it on the show right now. Like, I can't picture a way the editors could explain that to us in the 90 minutes
I
where and, like, this is a long segment too. This is probably gonna take up, 30 minutes, including the commercial, because 'cause we're gonna have the talk at camp, and then we're gonna have it playing out on the beach, and then the aftermath, and then, like, a recap from Jeff. So I don't know if I like what it would be like on the show right now,
so
but maybe yeah,
so
go
then
ahead.
take walk it back a couple steps, right? Because we took a lot of steps to get here. You could take something else among one of those steps and have a simpler version for television.
Like, I think what would be cool is if it's I actually don't want it to be a surprise. Like, I would like things episodes are building up to this big moment, and people are trying to prepare, but it's a big cloud of uncertainty because there's the other 2 tribes, what they're gonna do, but, like, you're planning. The more people from your tribe get eliminated, the harder it is gonna be to plan because now there's less possibilities for you, but and then and then we get to this moment. That way, like, you have multiple episodes to explain some kind of, it's like a choice system. Like, it's like, the next I want one step above schoolyard pick, I think, because schoolyard pick, I think, only works like, you'd have to have a challenge where 3 people win so that those 3 people are the ones picking so they could feel like they earned the advantage of being able to construct a tribe. But even then, at best, that like, usually, if it's a schoolyard pick, on paper, it should just mean 3 balanced tribes. So, like, the advantage in fact, that advantage hurts whenever tribe was strongest because things get balanced. So that's not the best. Let's summarize for now. It's just there's a strategic swap,
Yes.
a decision-based that's better, decision-based swap that will come. I'm not sure I'm ready for it to be at 16. Like, I think we just had, like, all that drama in episode 1, which was 18, and then episode 2, we're down to 17, and now episode 3, we're already doing this. So, on paper, I think it should be further, but obviously, yeah, like, you have to math it out to see what works, but I'm just thinking we just had a s like, I don't like when it's, like, swaps every episode. Like, I do like the it's like I think there's even a seasons like we swapped and then like the next episode and we're merged. It's like, well then what was the point of even doing this?
So let's let
So
them sit in these 3 6-person tribes and then maybe do the swap. Let's kick it to, say, 14. And I think with 14, you could still do a good amount of decision making with 2 tribes of 7. You still can do a solid decision making swap without getting overly complicated and without swapping too early.
yeah, I also like two swapping to two just is easier to follow as well. It's like I'm either this or that. What am I gonna do? Versus I'm either this, or that. So you can try to decide who to stick to. You can try to stick together. If there's an undefeated tribe that they've had kumbaya all this time, suddenly like this throws into disarray because clearly this is gonna show out like who you care about, who you don't, which will later affect you in the merge, where the actual merge, where now you might be able to all come back together to your like original six, but you probably hurt feelings like before, and you spent like 2 episodes in a group of 7, so maybe you like them better now. Um, okay,
Yeah.
so we have a revolutionary 6 tribe start, which really, and I think if I'm following, not only will it create drama in that very first episode, but it I think it also makes it less likely that by the time we're at the merge, like that I have this huge these strong bonds with my original 6 or 5 if you were the first one that won the tribal council. Like there was like during the pre-merge, it probably means there were fireworks at some point.
Yeah.
Like it makes me excited for each of the first tribes tribal councils. Because especially the first one, but even the other two, like in episode 2, true, the 6 of them have gotten longer to talk to each other, but in the simmering under the surface is those original groups of 3 that may or may not wanna stay together. So I think it really hits something there. I
I
like
th
it.
I think if you're saying merge 2 episodes later, I do think for episode so or would you suggest a merge at 12 then?
Um,
Because I would refute that
I
very quickly.
I don't know because I just finished saying, like, I don't like when we swap and then instantly merge later, so I feel like there should be another like, it should be so not next episodes, so not 13. 12 is on the table, 11's on the table.
I think it would
10 is probably too late, I don't know.
I I like the idea of a 10-person merge. I tend to lean more toward the smaller merges, personally. I think you can't the only thing you can't do with this is you can't do the jury starting at 12 because then you risk an unbreakable tie if you have a 3-person final tribal. But we'll get there.
Well, remember that especially now, I mean, Jeff breaks the rules all the time. He's like, "Ah, you're all the same beach," but actually the person who's going home is doesn't make the merge anyway. So we can just pick and choose whenever the jury starts, regardless of when the merge starts.
Very true. So,
I mean,
I
it's a little mean to them, but we have that option.
so how much are we trying to squeeze into this season?
Uh,
Because I think I got something else for you, Will.
into this, well, is it tribe related? What are we talking?
I mean, what are tribes really? I mean, I guess it could be tribe related. Say we're at final 12 and we could call them let's call them I don't know but if they're really a tribe. Let's have 4 groups of 3. All right. Well, I'm going to need you to stick with
Four
4 groups of
groups. Where
3.
did our 4 groups come from?
This one was a random draw.
Okay,
Okay.
so at some point we've swapped from 3 to 4.
No, it's yeah, let's call it you can call it a swap. I like to
Or
think of it
or do
these
or
are
do you mean
challenge groups. Very much so like we would have when we talk about earn the merge. But you could call
oh, you
them
mean
tribes. You could call them
wait,
tribes,
you're
groups, whatever
saying
floats your boat.
I see. like in this episode they become 4 groups of 3, you're
For
saying?
the challenge,
Okay, okay.
right? Now, in this situation, you have 4 groups of 3 that compete against each other in this challenge. The group of 3 earns the merge, but they simply don't go to tribal council, whereas all 3 other groups do go to tribal council. The other 3 people, they are on another beach, exiled, on reward, whatever you wanna do.
Those are
At the
the exile,
feast,
that's me.
they're not a tribal. And then you
Clearly, they would be going to the Survivor Sanctuary
the
where good
Survivor
things happen.
Sanctuary, of course. Maybe get some Applebee's.
Of course, yep. I agree.
And then you have 3 groups of, 4 groups, so you have 3 groups of 3 at tribal council, and that's your final 12 vote. And then we merge at 11.
I don't dislike it. I am trying what are we adding to me to the audience compared to either not merging at all, so just continue with what was going on before, or just having a merge challenge where 12 people go to tribal council.
It's essentially a merge challenge, but instead of 12 people going to tribal council, only 9 people go to tribal council. Because I think, like, what people say with earn the merge, right? Part of it is you have a lot of people are immune but are still casting a vote. This would essentially take those people off the table altogether. And it's
I
only 3
agree.
people.
I agree that it feels weird to show up and vote, but like all of you be immune. That's odd. But I would like I just they just don't earn the merge. Just it's the merge. You did it. You made it to the merge. I don't know if we need and I don't know like the earn the merge concept. I was excited at first, but after all these several seasons, it has not been doing it for me. It doesn't feel like it's adding things
Very well.
compared. So I think but the only thing it adds is it's easier to track 9 people than 12 people. But because it's 9 random people, like, my storylines are ruined because I don't know. Because in our example, we're coming from 3 tribes, so each of those tribe storylines the cliche storyline is, "We're gonna stay strong, like, tribe strong," each of them, even if they're lying to each other, that's what they're saying. But now, like, bits and pieces of all of them are going to the tribal. I think once they're all together, I want everyone there. So I
Very well.
think I would like either we merge and that's it, or just another episode not being merged.
Very well. Very well.
Although, how about this? Uh, do we want a tie to be actually there's 3 tribes, so then maybe it's moot. I was gonna say like odd number merge vote versus even number merge vote,
I think I
but we
tend
have
to be
3.
indifferent because I feel like with a merge vote, what you really are going to get is you're going to get that herd mentality, at
Yeah, well
least for the first 2
the
votes. Unless you go for, say, a final 10 or final 9 merge.
Sure. Actually, so if we went to 2 tribes at 14, then we do have 2 groups coming in. Like the dream is you get to the merge and then the 2 groups like fight each other and one or the other wins, but like it so rarely happens, but that is a dream. It'd be cool to like find a way to make that happen.
I
That's like
would
that's
say
another version of the season.
I would say most people dislike that because when you start with 2 tribes, you end up that you're more likely to get a pagonging.
Well, just for the excitement of the merge vote, it's cool to we even watched David versus Goliath. At their merge vote, on the surface, it was 7 Goliaths versus 6 Davids, and the edit told us in that episode, it's all gonna come down to this, 7 versus 6. Will somebody flip to switch that 7 versus 6 fix majority? Now, it turned out the edit lied to us, and actually it was a unanimous vote for one of the Davids. But
Again,
it could
that's
have
what's gonna happen.
it
You're
could
gonna
have
be hurting cats for that vote.
uh yeah, yeah. Okay, so indifferent for odd and evens. I wanna see I need to rewatch more seasons with small merges, like 10 people or fewer, just to remind myself what it feels like. 'Cause that could be interesting, like, more especially, like, actually, yeah. I'm just gonna pick 10 just to pick a number because whenever I change up the tribes, I want that change to matter, and when you undo the tribe structure after an episode or 2, well, then it devalues the strategic switch that we just did. If it's
Yep.
not gonna matter if it only mattered for that one tribal
Yep.
or 0 tribals because we won both of our challenges, whatever. So so we have 1 episode, like, half an episode as a tribe of 3, and then maybe 4 episodes. No, it should probably be 3. It's 3 or 4 episodes as a tribe of 6, and then 3 episodes as a tribe of 7, and the rest of the season, which is probably 4 more episodes. I think I have too many episodes, but hopefully it's all spread out enough that you can spend time in these new tribes and make it matter.
Yeah,
That's ultimately what I want.
that's fair enough, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I do think
Uh,
once you actually hit merge, a lot of the twists that Jeff Probst have put in the game should be taken and go directly in the garbage. Monty Hall problem, get rid of it. You shouldn't be having another, like, randomly swap into 2 other tribes post-merge.
well,
Get
yeah.
rid of
Well,
it.
yeah, forget so yeah, for idols advantages of future episodes, but for once you're merged, there's no need to I think every vote after the merge is everybody. The
Yeah,
only reason that it's not everybody is, like, somebody earned like, an individual earned something that means they don't have to be there.
yeah,
It's like safety without power, or they have a steal a vote, so someone's there, but they can't vote, that's okay. But, uh, in terms of tribe structure, it's all of you together till the end. Save the, like, split up challenges for rewards. Which is what it was before.
yeah.
It's because usually it's an individual wins and they pick a group, but you could actually just randomly split the tribe and then have them fight for reward, and then the winners go on reward. That's fine too. You could do a mix of that and the usual one person wins and picks who's gonna go with them.
Mhm.
Uh, so that'd be nice. On my list, I think we talked everything. We acknowledged that hopefully production's picking a good cast, first of all. Step 0. If you mess that up, then everything else is moot. And we talked about starting tribe structures, all our tribe swaps and switches, how we're gonna treat the merge and the post-merge. Um, let's end this episode with this. We didn't talk mutiny. Is there any room for maybe another version of this type of season where a mutiny is in play?
I think there is another version of this season where a mutiny can come and play. Some things with mutiny is you could potentially essentially create a situation where if you're not done right, you could essentially have a bunch of people, allies, just mutiny to one tribe and overwhelm that tribe. One option could be maybe after if you have a situation where maybe you have people they can mutiny to the other tribe, their tribe, or a third tribe that is yet to exist. Um, maybe cut off certain. I
I
don't know.
think I
It's
think
tough.
I think a mutiny replaces us. You wouldn't want both. You wouldn't want both all these swaps and a
Yeah.
mutiny. So like the gimmick has to be mutinies. You just blew my mind though. Was that always a possibility? Like on the seasons that
I,
had a mutiny, could like the entire tribe have they just could have forced a merge to happen?
oh, I mean, that was always something I've wondered. Could you do that? What's keeping you from doing that?
Like would Jeff be like, "Oh no, what have I done?"
But like, say for example, right? You swap or something, or you see all of your allies on the other tribe, and then you're just like, Oh, well, actually, if you have no swaps, then it becomes a different equation. I could see it then. It's tough. But I could see it
Yeah,
if you have no swaps, then it might become relevant, but then people it's only really if they think they are absolutely on their way out, no question, that they would consider mutinying.
yeah, it was a crazy when I saw it the first time, but the more I think about it, I think this like just no one will do it. Like either no one will do it because like it's understood that it's social suicide. Like you might be slightly better than you were before, but you're gonna be at the bottom of your new team. Or like there's a risk of that the super fans could game the system and be like, ah, good. Now like our whole core alliance is gonna abandon the people on the outs, which leaves like two people. And at that point, those two people were like, well, let's not be a tribe of two. Let's also mutiny, and then the whole game is ruined.
Yeah, or you can have a whole, like, choral or you could have a whole group be like, you know what? We think we can, like, take over the other tribe." So we're just, like say the other tribe has 5 people and your tribe has, like, 8 people. You're gonna be like, "You know what? Let's just have 6 of us go over there and knock them out one by one."
Well, especially if you have three tribes, that means like four of you could, or three of you can go, or four of you can go to a tribe of three, and then you outnumber them four to. I mean, they'd be weird because then there's only two people left on your own. But then the other tribe. Wait, how many people? How many people can mutiny though? What if like they counter mutiny? Yeah, I don't like it. No mutinies. It's too much. It would require overhauling the entire mechanic. Like you'd have to like go to tribal council and vote yes or no mutiny in private and like reveal the results afterwards. And I don't know if I like that. So maybe there's a mutiny advantage. Like one person finds the mutiny advantage, and it means they can abandon their tribe if they so wish, or give it to somebody else to abandon. I think that's the only version of this I like.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, we have gone over quite a lot, and that was only tribes. Uh, next time we come back, we will talk all about. Actually, maybe I'll leave it to you. Are you interested in idols and advantages more, or are you interested in like end game more?
Ooh. We could do either. Whatever, floats your boat, William.
Well, we'll leave it a mystery. That's called a tease. Tune in next time to find out the next step in our effort to build the ideal Survivor season. And hey, for all we know, when season 50 comes, maybe they do it. It was in the hands of the fans after all. Maybe we get the ideal season right there.
Yes, definitely.
All right, thank you, Rachel, for hopping on again.
Thank you for having
And
me.
with that, thank you all for listening. Until we speak again.